Hello and welcome to Electric Guitar Review. My name is Ben Brown and you've just been watching Jace Morris demonstrating the Silverline Standard from Blackstar amps. The Silverline Standard is a 20 watt 1x10 digital combo that uses Shark DSP power to deliver 6 preamp voices, 6 response options that model classic valve power amp circuits, and 12 onboard effects. Blackstar's patented ISF control sweeps from American to British tone, and other controls include gain, volume, bass, treble, effects type and level, and master volume. A USB port provides the option for direct recordings. A line in and an emulated line out allow easy connection of external music players and headphones, and the amp is loaded with a Celestion V-type speaker. The Architect software, downloadable from Blackstar's website, unlocks deep editing features and patch management, and the Silverline Standard has an RRP of £369. For this review, Jace is using his Seth Backus Nautilus Modern with bare knuckle Blackhawk humbuckers, so let's have another listen to some different settings on the amp now, and then please join me afterwards for my thoughts. Two things struck me about this amp straight away. One, it's nice and light, and two, it looks really cool. The Tolex and grill cloth combination seem to me to combine the vintage and modern well, and it looks to me to be an amp that will be equally at home in the living room or on the stage. It feels very solidly put together, although the small chicken head knobs feel a little cheap to me compared to the chunky handle, but that's a very minor niggle. When plugging into a digital amp for the first time, the litmus test for me is always, can I dial in a good tone without reading the manual? And there's a couple of benchmark sounds I look to emulate. One is a warm, blackface style clean with reverb, and the other is a tweedy crunch that cleans up with changes in my attack or volume control. So I set the preamp to clean warm, keeping the ISF in the American setting, setting the response to 6v6 and dialing in a touch of reverb, and yep, there's my warm blackface style clean tone. Switching to crunch, pushing the ISF up a little bit and backing off the gain, yep, there's my tweedy crunch as well. So far so good. Further investigation into the different preamp and response settings revealed that they reacted much as you would expect. Moving through the emulated output valve stages to bigger AB style setups gave a deeper low end and a more open sound, and moving through the preamp settings gave a progressively more saturated tone. Combining the preamp and response settings with the ISF control opened up a lot of versatility as well, and if you know the combination that will approximate the amp tone you're after, dialing in a sound is easy. I really like the direction that Blackstar have gone with this amp. So often a digital amplifier has thousands of built-in presets with names such as 70s Super Crunch, Beat Combo 30, Sparkle Face, etc, etc. And as much as that helps you guess the tone you're going to get, I always find myself in an endless quest of preset scrolling, whereas with the approach taken here, I knew straight away that if I wanted a twin style sound, that the bright clean and the 6L6 setting was going to get me there. Plus I found it easier to tweak on the fly. Say you're enjoying a bit of single-ended 6v6 style crunch and you want to beef up your tone without changing the gain structure too much, simply switch to one of the larger output stage response settings to gain more headroom, less compression and more low end. Moving on to the effects section, I found that I did have to consult the manual a bit here to fully understand how it works. Some settings are adjusted by holding the tap button and adjusting the level knob, but once I'd figured that out, it was relatively simple to use. One thing that will be obvious is that you can't really see any settings for the effects apart from the speed of the flashing tap button and the position of the level, assuming you haven't moved it to adjust a secondary setting. This isn't the end of the world, and it's not as if I had to remember any particularly complicated setups, but maybe if Blackstar could have found a way to squeeze in an extra parameter knob, it would have been a bit better. If you do want to get into tweaking settings a bit more, the Architect software really comes into its own. Connecting the amp to my computer with the pleasingly long included USB cable, I was happy to find not only more easily tweakable settings for the effects section, but also a mid control which isn't present on the amp itself. This made dialing in sounds even easier, and during the time I had the Silverline Standard at home, I actually found myself using the software to control it more often than not. Part of me wishes there was a Bluetooth option for wireless control, but aside from that, I found the interface of the Architect software very simple to use, and it's a good addition to the functionality of the amp. At £369, I think this amp is sensibly priced. To my ear, it packs a bit more punch in the volume stakes than other digital amps rated at the same wattage, and the intuitive layout and lack of submenus and hidden presets makes it appealing for those who want a versatile amp that they can use for plug-in and play situations. You could quite easily save a couple of simple presets and cart the amp off to a jam night and be safe in the knowledge that if your presets weren't working for some reason, you could quickly change to manual mode and dial something else in. All in all, I found my time with the Silverline Standard to be a pleasurable one. I'll freely admit to being in the keep it simple camp when it comes to my own electric rig, and sometimes the thought of finding a good tone with a digital amp and their at times overwhelming amount of choices makes me a bit nervous. But the Silverline from Blackstar's intuitive setup and inspiring tones kept me away from frustrating option scrolling and meant I could focus on playing, and any amp that inspires more of that is a good one in my book. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Electric Guitar Review. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be kept up to date when we post new videos, and Jason and I look forward to seeing you next time.